Welcome, bienvenue, welcome to France Today Live. I am Sylvia Davis and culture editor for France Media and your host today with author Corine Gantz, who shows us how to make her favorite French comfort food. And with that, I will ask Corine to start her video. Hi, Corine, great to see you.
Hi, bonjour everyone.
Thank you for joining us. I know it's early for you in California.
It's okay, 8 a.m.
8 a.m. So double thanks. So Corine was born in Paris and followed her heart to the US, her heart that is perpetually torn between the two countries. She writes novels that take place in France and cooks French food when she feels homesick. So Corine is the author of Hidden in Paris, released this summer, which comes with a companion cookbook. So I asked Corine if she would kindly share her two favorite recipes. And I'll let Corine introduce herself in her own words, as she kindly made a little video for us, if that's okay, Corine?
Yeah. Bonjour everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Corine Gantz and I am a French woman who moved to California about 35 years ago. I met my husband in 1988 in Paris and the rest was history. My accent is still French, laced with American accent, which is a weird hybrid. And I try to incorporate France into my everyday life, in my kitchen, my cooking. I'm always going to be wanting to be in both places at once. But I love living in California. Of course, I love this 360 days of blue sky and beautiful weather. I live about 45 minutes from downtown Los Angeles. It's very hot here. Already, I think it's 10:30 in the morning, and the fans are on, the windows are open, but in the next few minutes I'm going to be closing all the doors and windows and just staying put until it gets cool again, hopefully around 6 p.m. where we'll open all the windows and open all the doors. Even though we live in a very urban area, we have this amazing climate that allows us to grow fruit and vegetable year-round. So there's never a point of the year where there's not something coming out from the garden, whether it's the citrus or the persimmons, the apples, the plums, and of course right now, tomato season. I'm just showing you just a few from a corner of the kitchen that's halfway clean, because right now I have pounds and pounds and heaps of fruit and vegetable waiting to be canned. So it's going to be a big canning weekend for me. I write novels that take place in Paris, at least so far. My first novel, Hidden in Paris, was self-published. It was the story of three American women who have issues in life and move into a beautiful house in Paris together. Food is a big part of the healing that takes place in the novel. So someone said, hey, why don't you just write the cookbook of the novel with all the recipes in the novel? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I did it. It was very difficult. I also had to teach myself how to take photos of the recipes, which was a whole other adventure. But ever since, I've been writing novels set in Paris, and I hope you'll check in some of them on my website. My approach to cooking is very simple, tons of flavor, simple motion, not a lot of fuss. I want to get in and out and have a delicious meal in under an hour. That is kind of my non-culinary system, but turns out pretty good. So I hope that you enjoy the recipes, and please feel free to ask questions. All right, I hope you're ready. Let's get cooking.
That was great. Thanks, Corine, for preparing. How was the canning weekend? How did it go?
Epic, epic. I have the plums are the big problem this year. I had 3 plum trees and we never expected such a crop. So it's, I mean, maybe 100 jars of plum jam that we have to like give away.
That sounds delicious, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you can show us how to make jams. And
Yes, I love to make jam. I love to make jam and yogurt. Those are the 2 things I love to make.
Oh, that'd be one for for a new event. So, Corine, when we were first talking about your visit to France Today Live, you mentioned that you picked these 2 recipes, your version of Provençal poulet à la Provençal, and which would be Provençal chicken, shall we call it?
Yes.
And then moist chocolate cake, moelleux chocolat. And you said you picked them because they taste amazing, they were fast to make, no cooking skills required, which is very good for me watching. And it's one pot recipes that are very easy to clean. So these are your go-to comfort meals.
Yes, I'm really big on doing as little dishes as possible. So anytime I can just pile things into one pot, I'm happiest. And also my husband, because now the job is he cleans the big pan. So and so what makes the chicken Provençal is that it's really takes there's a lot of bell peppers, which are, you know, kind of a southern France, a little bit like what you find in a ratatouille, you know, minus the eggplant. So it's very kind of summery, south of France-ish. And there are many ways to do it and do it probably better than mine. But mine works because it's fast, it's easy, it tastes very close to the real thing, and it's just easy to make. So if you were to make it with boneless chicken, skinless chicken, it goes really fast to cook. But then it will add flavor if you choose to have with skin and bone, but you have to cook it a little longer. The chocolate cake, I guarantee you have never tasted a better chocolate cake, and probably not easier to make either. So yeah, I vouch for those 2 recipes for sure.
Chocolate's always a favorite. So Corine, we'll watch the first video, and I just wanted to remind everybody that they no need to take notes because you can watch this video again. And also, Corine has kindly uploaded the full recipe. Thank you very much, Corine, for the extra work on her website, corinegantz.com. So let's just go to the recipe.
So this is my version of the poulet Provençal. It's wonderful to make in the summer because we have such an abundance of tomatoes and peppers. We grow our vegetables here, so in general we have to use it up one way or another. Although this year this is my crop so far, July 24th, and I have a lot of carrots, tons of tomatoes, but no peppers. For you today, I'm just making the recipe for 4 or 5 people, maybe 4. Without going into details, you will need chicken thighs, tomatoes, a few bell peppers, carrots, celery, 1 onion, tomato paste, garlic cloves, some white wine, bay leaf, thyme, rosemary, dry or fresh, olive oil, cayenne pepper, and salt and pepper. I'm super lucky that I get to grow onions and garlic year round. They're not very pretty, but they're great tasting. Those peppers I bought. And my chicken, I try to get organic, free range. Wine, doesn't matter, not a sweet wine for sure. Then I have carrots and tomatoes from the garden. And then I use tomato paste because I think that any tomato sauce needs a little kick. and that's my coarse salt. So those cups are important because we use them for my recipes. Super important is a hot pan. So I drop some water, and if it bubbles up, then it's time for me to put the olive oil. I don't wait for the oil to be hot to put the chicken, however. This is how I do it, and that ensures that the chicken doesn't stick. So very hot pan, oil that's not hot, and it won't smoke, and it won't burn, and it won't stick. There's my 5 pieces. I will season my chicken here with just pepper and salt. And one of the wonderful things about living in Southern California is that I get fresh herb year-round. So my herbes de Provence are herbes de Californie. I have thyme, laurel, rosemary, basil. I don't like to use basil for this recipe. So this is my fresh thyme, my fresh bay leaf. And then just kind of don't overdo it with the rosemary because it does tend to overpower. Chop chop. I'm removing the pits and just chopping up my peppers. This is a kind of a disaster story with the peppers here. Not only did I have to go to the store to buy them, but well, you'll see. Peppers can take a long time to cook, and they're also kind of hard to digest. So I do either of 2 things. Either I steam them or I freeze them for about 2 hours beforehand. So here you can see that my chicken, I haven't touched it. This is practically in real time. I'm just flipping it over. Doesn't, or almost doesn't stick because of my little method. I leave things alone pretty much in my kitchen. Things tend to burn a lot. So here I'm just chopping the rest of the peppers, and I'm going to steam them. So I just put water on the bottom of a pan and just let it boil and cover. So I'm going to cover here. But then maybe at some point I should have turned off the heat. I didn't. Here I'm cutting one of my very ugly and very delicious onions. The uglier the better. I grow a lot of onion. I use probably an onion or 2 a day at minimum. So I'm just going to cut it up into small pieces here. Remove some of the ugly parts. Sometimes I chop the onion and I saute them first in the hot pan, but then I have to put them aside so I can cook the chicken, brown the chicken without the onion burning. So here I just did it a little differently. I first sauteed or braised the chicken, and then I'm going to add the onion at this point. And stir. And the pan is so hot, and it's going to mix in with the juices of the chicken, so it's going to be perfect. You don't have to leave it on for even too long before you add the liquid. So what I'm doing right now is I'm really making a broth. I want my vegetable to soak up that delicious broth. That's why I don't put the vegetable in first. So I've adopted this whole system of cup for measurement. This is very American. So 1 cup, I don't think it's about 8 ounces, I'm not sure. Here I put as much wine as I have in my bottle. I really do tend to improvise. I mean, if I have a lot of wine, I put a lot of wine. If I have not enough wine, I cut it with water, which is what I do here. I added a cup of water. We'll let everything sit for a little bit, and then start chopping my tomato while that cooks. Just everybody has a different way of cutting tomato. I don't know what to call that little nub there. I just, you know, eat it essentially. Especially in summer, tomatoes that are just so amazing. So I tend to put like here a little salt and oops in my mouth. So you can cut it really roughly. It really doesn't matter. Everything is going to be so mixed in, you won't even see the tomatoes at the end. And I just turn on the fire pretty hot and stir so that everything mixes in. Can you see what I see? I don't like it. This is kind of things that somebody has to fix quickly with it. Much better. I'm kind of a messy cook. And here, a big squirt of tomato paste, eyeballed. So by now my broth is pretty awesome. Cutting up the carrots, peeling them. You can cut them in much smaller chunks, it will cook faster. Here I add a little bit, but not too much celery. I think it can also overpower. It's nice to have a little celery background, but otherwise it's just too much, I think. So here we go. I'm going to celery it up. Chop, chop. I do like cutting vegetables. Not very good at it, but it's so relaxing. So meanwhile, I'm burning the peppers. See, I'm putting my carrots, paying very good close attention. And back there, what's happening is, yep. So what you don't see behind the scene is I had to stop everything, go to the store, buy more peppers, start over. I mean, just the pepper part, thank goodness. But for right now, I'm still oblivious, showing you my cayenne pepper, my salt. I actually don't think I put enough salt. I added another pinch later on. Still going, that fire. So of course I have strong opinions about garlic, being French and everything. So I grow my own garlic, and I pretty much grow enough for year round, and my garlic is potent. So I like to just take it apart and then use this little something. I don't know why I found it in a Japanese gift store, and it peels so well. You have to wait for the garlic to be a little dry, and then it just comes right off. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Just roll it up and up, naked little garlic, whatever those things are called, and then I chop them up. No big art in there, as you can see. I don't think it matters if you crush cuts. I don't care. So I'm adding my garlic, letting it cook. And while things are cooking, I'm just going to take all of my compost, my compostable, and bring it outside to the garden. We grow so many fruit and vegetables. This is a itty bitty avocado. We have a lot of compost bins year round. And I make my own soil. I'm prouder of my soil than I ever anything else, really. Carrots and fruit trees. We have 40 fruit trees in a very small space. Tomato galore, because my husband's swimming in the pool meanwhile. And then plums. So here you go. Not maybe the best picture of it, but I served it with white rice. Made a little crudité plate. There's my book in the background. And here are the novel and the cookbook of the novel, in case you're curious. So here are photos from the cookbook where I used chicken that had skin and bones. I think it's tastier, but it takes longer to cook and also maybe has more calories. Either way, it's delicious.
Thank you so much, Corine, and thank you for going through the trouble of preparing the videos for us. That was extra special.
It's really fun.
And you mentioned that you can make it with or without the bone. How much time would you add if you make it with the bone in?
Well, it depends. If you want the chicken to fall right off the bone, you can just add a full hour, just very low heat. But if you're comfortable with it being just fully cooked and a little bit firm still, another 30 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So we have some questions coming in already. Simon asks, I am in England. We don't have cup measurements in the UK. What is the equivalent of a cup in grams, fluid ounces, or tablespoons?
So those are very good questions. So it's almost impossible to tell you that, because it's about volume. So for example, you'll see in the chocolate, I go in the details of how that works, and but it's about the Americans, you know, they have a simple ways of organizing things, and so it's about volume. So a cup of liquid is not the same as a cup of sugar in terms of weight, right? But it's you know, it's the same volume. So they go by volume. Whatever, I've said the word volume 3 times.
Yeah. So if you look at the let's say the standard, it usually says 1 cup is equivalent to 240 milliliters as a rule of thumb. But like you say, it may depend on how much you can pack in.
Yes, exactly. So in fact, it's a very good question. I have a French scale, so I should kind of measure and weigh, and then put that on my website.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you. And but I think if you follow 240 milliliters, as long as you're keeping the proportions, that should also work, right?
Yes. It's not as important as in this recipe, because, you know, as you see, I eyeball a lot. I mean, I could put a half a bottle of wine. I put it in the cup just to give you a taste of like what's coming, because you'll see in the chocolate cake it's going to be more important. But otherwise, you know, a half a bottle, you know, I just pour
a little bit for the cook
and some for the
And Liz is complimenting your utensils. She says, very interesting wooden measuring cups. Did you get them in California?
I did. You know, they have I have plastic cups, I have glass cups, I have metal cups, and I have wood cups. This is my favorite because it looks more wholesome. But they come in basically 4 sizes: the cup, half a cup, third of a cup, and a quarter of a cup. I'll bring them to you so to show you in a minute. And those are very pretty. There, I think I purchased them on some equivalent of you know, it's like a international store that has a lot of kind of like wholesome things from different countries. But yeah,
like a little bit like Maison du Monde.
Voilà, exactement. Yeah.
And Liz also, well, I think we saw them pretty well in the video actually. And Liz also likes your garlic peeler, just as a note.
Those are fantastic. Yes.